one of your co-hosts and your presenter today. I'm Andrea Tseng-Rioux, and with me is...
I'm Victoria.
All right. So Victoria's going to help me if you guys have questions in the chat today, because I am on one screen. I'm not in my home office with my command center monitor. So I'm just going to be sharing my PowerPoint right here in Teams. I've got to share my screen because I want to be able to live demo. Otherwise, I would share in Teams the slide deck that I have. So oops, bear with me for 2 seconds while I get that pulled up. All right, so task organization in Microsoft 365. To do, planner, and lists. These are hands down some of the best tools that we have at Microsoft, and I don't think folks use them nearly enough. So when I first started learning about these tools, someone shared this diagram with me, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is brilliant. Thinking about Teams being the center of all that you're doing and that place where all of that kind of internal work happens, but then how do you bring in the other tools that we have to make sure that we can get work done? So To Do and Planner, now called Tasks in Teams, are a great way to drive personal and collaborative work and getting folks to be able to check off tasks that need to get done. And then lists is really a way to help organize work or information or projects, not to be confused with Microsoft projects, let's just say that. But it's a way to track things that can be really customizable. To Do, very basic. Planner takes it up a level, and then lists really becomes customizable with automation and different pieces along those lines. And then you can still share files easily, connect content through SharePoint and OneDrive, and then your communications with outside are done with Outlook. And so this just really helped me understand that Teams is the heart of that. And these three tools, To Do, Planner, and Lists, do make that easier. So this is a chart that I put together when I started doing this presentation a couple, I guess, 2 years ago now, but I don't think these have changed much as I was preparing for today. To Do, it gives you focus on your personal tasks. It's an app for a single person. You can share things and assign things to other folks, but it really makes it simple for you. It's really your individual task list that needs to get done day to day. And I'll show you a quick snippet of how to set it up so that every day it tells you your day and tasks that need to get completed. For me, Planner is my favorite. Planner is an easy, very visual, and that's really why I like Planner, is it's very visual task management app, and I can manage it across team members. It embeds so well into a team and allows you to use it and assign tasks to others and leave comments and go back and forth with other folks. I have a colleague who manages all of his work from Planner. He uses no other tools, which amazes me because he really feels that Planner makes it easy for organization. And with Planner, you have some fixed metadata for fast, easy management that allows you to see what's happening. This is fixed. It can't be personalized or modified. What you get is what you get. And then lists. I like to think of lists as completely customizable. You've got all kinds of different ways to utilize it. And it can be a work management, so tracking progress of different work stages. You can organize and track. You can add Power Automate flows, or you can automate lists to get information to come in. They can act as a database. And you can customize all the different fields right inside of lists to have it work the way you need it to work. So I'm going to pause and check. Victoria, any questions, any thoughts on any of these?
Yes, we did get a few questions. Scott loves, well, okay. Let's see, does it work like role of business analysis? So is there a business analyst role, I guess, that you can do with any one of these tools, I guess is the question.
So if you're looking for a business analyst, it would be based on what data you put in. And I would think lists would be the one that could give you some of that data for an analysis to look at. But whatever that data is would be available to all users on that. And it would depend on what you were collecting and what you were looking to get out of it.
Gotcha. Okay. And did you, Maitri, did you want to add anything to that, or does that answer your question?
Yeah, because I just wanted to ask, like, current, just now I finished one of the upgrade project. I just wanted to ask, like, how the business analysts do, like, planning to do and everything. Can I combine all those things in this, whatever you told?
Oh, so you're trying to plan an analysis project?
Yes.
Yes, then lists would be one that I would love. And I will show you a project that I did with Stephanie and Heather 2 years ago, just to give you an example of one that doesn't have any sensitive data in it. And I will show you that when we get there in a few minutes.
Yeah, because I just want to, like, neat and clean. Like, as of now, I am just putting all the files and everything in a share. If I want to present to management or anything, if it looks good, like, how the Power BI or the reports or something like that, I want it like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know that we'll get you a Power BI dashboard, but you can take information that's put on lists and use it to fill in a Power BI dashboard. But I think depending on the view, when we get into lists, you'll be able to see that you've got a couple different options of views for that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, Microsoft To Do. I'm going to jump in. This is super short, but I found that these give the best overview. Let me make sure I shared my system audio. I can't remember if these have audio or not.
We're not hearing the audio if you're sharing it, but sorry, I waited too long to probably say that.
Yeah. Can you still hear me?
Yep, we can hear you though.
Okay. Well, basically, that quick overview was to talk about how he had a lot to do at work, and he had to plan his daughter's birthday party, timely, for me anyway today. But he uses the To Do app to be able to get all of his tasks in one place quickly. And my colleague Darren gave me his example because he uses To Do pretty regularly, and he's developed a new workflow of creating, as you can see here, he's got planned tasks that are assigned to him, and all of the tasks in one view, and then categories. And then he actually has, and we cut that part off, all of his accounts listed here, and he has a to-do list for each account. And for each of those accounts, he can share it with his manager or a colleague that might be working on that list as well, just so they can see what he's working on. But it really is a personal example of how he's using it. So here in his reading list, task list, you can see that he's got a couple others there. You can see here that he's not added anybody to share that list. And what culminates on my day is that anything that's due that day from any of these lists or lists down below or his account list below will show up in my day. So even if you know something's not due for 3 weeks and he's like, on this day, I need to email this account about this information, that will show up under his day. And when he starts his day in the morning, he gets to take a look at that My Day. And this syncs through Outlook, through the app on your phone, as well as the Tasks app inside of Teams. So, and the Tasks app inside of Teams pulls in all of that information as well. So it brings all of those tasks to one place, regardless of where it was. And again, when we think about to-do and planner, we're thinking about individual tasks, checking them off and getting them done. I love that both apps give you the check mark and the line. I used to take my, felt tip pens and create all of my lists in my classroom. And that's what I really like about this. It gives me that visual, that yay, I have checked the box type experience. And then
small question.
Yeah.
Can we include, like, if a project consists of like a teamwork, like a 6 or 7 people? So can we share that same project with people, and like, for example, okay, today you need to do this one. The email can send it to them?
It won't send them an email, but if you're using notifications for the app, it will give you those notifications. There is a desktop app for it. I think for what you're asking, though, I really think that Planner is a better solution. Planner allows you to have a set of lists, they call them buckets, to be able to assign different things to different people or multiple people, and tracking a little bit more of that work. So if you're looking for some light project management tooling, I would really recommend Planner.
Yep, and we did have another question from Aksha, but I think that Planner might answer that, but I'll read the question, but let you proceed with your presentation, keeping it in mind. What would be the best way to accomplish this? We want to assign a task to each user of the team to complete their check-in on a weekly or monthly basis, that the user has to mark completed, and not just a calendar reminder. How do you create reoccurring tasks to assign to members of a team? So,
well, I actually have a different solution for that, and it kind of goes along with build this week. What I would do is I would build a reminder bot in Teams in the Power Automate area that has your, did you say it was a weekly check-in? That would
weekly or monthly, yeah.
Weekly or monthly. I would create that had the form right in it and have it automate and send on the day that you want it. Like maybe you want it to go out at 8 a.m. on Fridays, that it would go out and it would be in the chat message in Teams. And then they could just click it. And I have no idea how to do this, but I'm getting them internally, so I know that it's possible. Because I'm getting things from a flow bot that I need to respond to. And it comes right in chat. It's super easy to quickly do it and hit submit, and I don't have to go anywhere else.
Nice.
But you could do it in Planner as well. I just now think of that solution as something that's, I like to think about how can I shape the path to ensure that others use the tool. And I feel like if it were to show up in a chat message, I had to click a couple things in a Microsoft form and then click submit right inside of chat. I would do it in the moment real fast and be ready to go. So that would be mine.
Okay, and I'll stall questions and things until the end because I want to make sure everyone gets to see all that you
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're going to go quick. I'm going to skip this video just because I know that you don't have the audio, but it does help bring in all of those pieces. And both Planner and Tasks are in Teams under Tasks in Teams. So I'm going to end this show and pull up my Planner really quickly. Just kidding. There's my Planner. So here at task.office.com, I am in my Planner. And what you see here is that I have a planner. I have, that should be CSM. So I titled my bucket wrong. So I'm going to click right here and change that to CSM. And these are work that I need to get done. I don't have any due dates on there, but I could have. I needed to add my expenses for other things in follow-up. So let's just say I need to dive in here a little bit more. I can simply click in here. I can assign it to myself or somebody else. It's definitely something that I need to do. And I can decide if it's in progress or not. I can decide the importance of the priority. Obviously, I put it in a while ago, but I need to make sure that it's done by tomorrow. I can add any notes in here. New system. Need to make sure we use the new system, and I could make sure that I put hotels. Reminding me of things I need to make sure I put on my expense report. And then I get to decide which of these shows up on the card. You only get one. Notes, checklists, or attachments if you add something. And it will show up on the card. So now you can see that it's been updated. If I click on it again, let's say I want to make sure that I added a label. Well, first of all, we've gotten so many more color labels. I love it. You can edit the label and say, give it a label. Oops, I changed the name of it, but didn't click go. So now it's been labeled. You can add emojis to your labels, which is really great. And it updates automatically. Always check out the ellipses because you can move them, you can copy them, you can copy the link if you need to share the link with somebody to remind them. They do need to be a part of the planner. And then from here, we talked briefly about having some small metadata available. So I'm in the board view here, which you can see I have lots of buckets for all the different accounts that I work with that have things going on. I've got action items that I need to do for work that I'm working on, and I'm in the board view. I can then go to the chart view and be able to see started, not started, completed, where my buckets are. And this is that finite metadata that you don't have the option to adjust. This is primarily just for me, but I do have others added just so you could see. Heather and Abby are added here as well, so that I could add them if I needed to. And then I can also look at a schedule view, and you'll see that I have one here and that I can use from a calendar view, and I can click on and open up that specific expense. I can add to the calendar view right from, or I can add to right from the calendar. I can change the bucket right here, date, assign, super easy to add. I've got the ability to scroll through all my buckets and see what's going on here. Very easy. Under the ... from in Planner, I can see the members, I can add files, I can pin this while I'm in Planner. I can copy the plan. Let's say you create a great plan and you know you're going to need to use it every quarter for closeout of technology or something along those things. You can do all of that. This is also the place you can have it add to your Outlook calendar, so items show up on your Outlook calendar. And you've got the ability to adjust a few things in your plan settings, which mostly and most important to me is that I could make it purple. But you've got a couple other options. The colors don't head over to Teams when you add it to Teams.
So real quick, speaking of adding it to Teams, and this might have been answered in the chat now, but Amy brought up a good kind of question about, are these planners associated, are they individual, like personal planners? Do they have to be a part of a team or associated with the M365 group? What are kind of the parameters around that?
Yeah, so most of them you can use all on your own planner, unless your organization requires that 2 people be an owner. And that's why Heather is a second owner of mine, not that she ever looks at it, is because at Microsoft we are required to have 2 people own them, unless you add a plan to a team. And that's really how I would recommend doing it. So here I'm in a team. I'm going to add tasks by planner and to do. And when I add that, it's going to ask me to give it a name. Unless I want to pull from an existing plan, I'm going to put demo. Let's do this. Demo birthday. We'll do a fun birthday celebration one. And I'm going to click save. And now you're going to see that it shows up here inside of Teams. I can adjust the name by just clicking and changing the name. I can add as many buckets as I would like. Here's the conversation if we're going to do any Teams conversations around the board if you want to @message somebody and say, hey, take a look at this. That's pretty important to take a look at. You can do that. You can't tag someone on a task unless you assign it to them. So down here, we'll assign it to Darren. And I click add task. When I open that one up, down here in the comments where you can leave comments back and forth, I don't have the ability to @mention somebody. So if I wanted to do that, I would need to do that over here. That's one question that I get asked quite often, but it is possible in List, and I'll show you that in a moment. But everybody that's on this team has access to this planner. So when you look at that assigned list here, these folks all have access to the planner itself because they're members of this team. So any of these people can add to it or check things off. And when you do that, and so I'm going to add one for myself as well and assign it to myself. When I go over here on the side, oops, let's make sure we add it. I go over here to tasks by planner and to do on my app bar. I'm able to see all of the planners that have been given me tasks. Don't judge, I have a lot that are overdue apparently. This is my demo environment, but you'll see here that I have my to-do tasks from all the other places that I had, as well as my planners themselves. So if I click on this planner, you'll be able to see things that are assigned to everybody. But if I go and look at tasks for me, you will see, look at assigned to me and change the due date. There it is. And so it's right there at the top of the list. And so those are tasks that are assigned to me from all the different planners that I might have in other places, or a list from to do that has been assigned to me. So you're able to see it from everything right here in Teams, whether you've added to these lists from Outlook and Planner, or from to Outlook and To Do, if you've added it that way, or if you've added it from Planner as a standalone app, or if you've added it to tasks or to do. I think I just talked in a circle. I'm sorry, friends. All right, I'm going to pull up this PowerPoint one more time and jump into lists really quickly. And I will share this deck out with everybody, but lists themselves, let's go back into presentation mode here. Lists themselves, it has an app for iOS and Android, as well as a desktop app. Use it in the web, use it inside Teams. They're simple, they're smart, and they're flexible. And they're meant to help you do the work that you need to do. But this is really more about work management, not task management. And it works right inside of Teams. That's my favorite part. So when you add it to Teams, every task has the ability to have the conversation where you can @mention and go back and forth. This feature only works in the Teams side of things. And when you're looking, you can search using that /find to refine the search of that channel and find all of the @mentions to see work that's been done by a single person. Some people wanted to be able to track that. You can switch it to gallery view and look at tiles if that's easier, as well as see everything in a list view. So those are just a couple of the view options. You can also restore deleted items from SharePoint and see a history. And this one is unique to lists, and this one's probably my favorite feature. And this is the examples that Stephanie and I is working on. I'm going to show you the example in just a second, but I can see everything that was done when I look at the version history of a single task. And so I'm going to open up the list. So this was last year. This was a list that Stephanie, Heather, and I worked on, and this was the title of each of the Twitter posts that we were working on, when it was going to be published, or during which week, what day of the week, what was actually the text of the tweet. And then you could see if it was planned or published, when the draft was due, when it was published, content type, images. We had the links that we put in here as we did it, and we're able to get that information out, and we could change these as we were going. So if I go into edit in grid view, I can jump down and look at published, and all of these options I was able to customize myself. And so I can decide what these are here. Once you have your data in here, whether you input it from a spreadsheet, have it coming in via Microsoft Form, once you have data in here, you've got lots of options to be able to set rules and reminders and to be able to get more information. I know that I raced through that. So I'm going to check for questions, and maybe I need to just do a webinar on all of it one more time.
Yeah, I almost feel like each individual one of these solutions could almost be their own talk track. One of the questions that came up from, I mean, the last thing that you were just showing, how you can even export data as well. You can do exporting in a lot of these pillars. So one of the questions was, we see where you can, and this is coming from John, we see where you can export content from a plan to an Excel file. Any news on when we would be able to import information into a plan versus creating tasks one at a time?
For planner, I don't know. For lists, it's in place. You can import from an Excel spreadsheet from the beginning. So if you start a list, it's going to give you lots of template suggestions. It'll also let you start from a spreadsheet. So if that's what you're looking for there, I would try that. If you are looking at things that people need to check off as a new employee or new teacher or something along those lines, build one plan and then duplicate it.
Okay, awesome.
If anybody's using lists, because I see a couple people, list is powerful. We've used import on lists. I showed you some quick examples and I did all three. If somebody wants to share some of the amazing ways that they're using lists, because I know this much and I know it's this powerful. So we'd love to have next season, and I've now decided we're in seasons of our show here at MS Office Hours. We'd love to have you present early on next season.
Yeah, and I see Scott raising his hand, and he actually put a question in here too about him seeing a lot of demos, but not many, actual projects managed by a PM. Do we have any real actual projects versus demos for Planner? And that might be something for our community as well. I don't know if any one of you all have a robust kind of actual example of what you guys are using.
To ask my colleague who I'm with today if he would let me make sure we redact any data that's on there, but to show you his, because his is unreal. It's amazing.
Yeah. And Scott, you raised your hand. Was that what you wanted to highlight there? That would be great, Andrea. Okay. Yep. Thumbs up. So that's what he wanted to highlight. Yeah.
Well,
I think
and it looks like Amy Bandy Taylor, a good friend of the show, has used Power Apps and Power Automate with lists as well. And so it's always good to hear that from folks that I know, and I know all of you now, but I've worked directly with Amy. So thanks, Amy.
Yeah. Don't try and binge watch MS Office Hours season 5. It's exhausting. That is very funny. Because these really could be seasons, and it would be really interesting to see what were we talking about in Office Hours like 3 years ago, right? Versus the conversations that we're having today and the different things that have come to light. So
I
yeah,
see a lot from Scott on lists, and so I may be asking him to present
I
on
think
it.
I think that's the direction we're going at this point. Scott definitely needs to come on in season 6 of MS Office Hours to present. Scott said, okay, we got, I'd love to from Scott. So maybe that might be a good co-opportunity if the person you're working with, Andrea, and then Scott wants to kind of share something. But again, these things can get deep, so it can take up the whole time. So
well, I think we just need Scott and lists, but we can definitely do a further deep dive on Planner and maybe even asking our good friend Darren Clay from my team to come on, because he's really changing my mind about to do. I'm considering it for the next fiscal. I don't want to change anything this month because I just want to get through the end of the fiscal. But for FY23, I'm considering incorporating using my day, because I just need something in the morning that's going to help me focus and get started. Because the more I'm on the road, the harder it is to focus on what needs to get done at the start of each day, because my routine is different at every hotel I get to go to. So
yes, and as Velvet pointed out, if we mush to do together, we have to be careful about that, because that could be total and that could be a completely different thing. So thanks for that. So I think we're done here. I'm going to stop the recording here, but thank you all for joining us, and I'm glad that this resonated well with a lot of people. Thanks for, allowing us to be vulnerable and emotional there in the first part of the day today, and kind of rocking with us. You guys are amazing. And I look forward to seeing you all. I don't know that we for sure have a session next week. I don't know if they intended for this one to be the last one, or next week to be the last one. But
I can't imagine that Heather's going to let the season end without all of us being together one more time. I feel like we're going to have a session next week,